Good afternoon. This is Ruth and I'm with Fay Hollow Homestead, and this is my Beautyberry bush. Now, my mother bought this for me and it has got to be one of the best presents I've ever had in my life, because not only would I never have been able to afford this bush because it was very expensive, but I have been looking for Beautyberry for years and I've never been able to find it anywhere, in any greenhouses, in any nurseries. I've looked online. I've had a really hard time. Now, I found it in a couple of places, but I just didn't find them to be reputable sources, and so I didn't trust buying them online. But this is the Beautyberry that I got. Look at this. How beautiful is that? It has these purple berries that just cover it during the fall, and then white flowers throughout the summer. And the berries are actually edible. Now, this is also there's a native and a non-native species that you can put in your, that you can find. I do believe this is the native version, but I will be looking into that more. I'm just excited to have a Beautyberry, and native versus non-native is not a huge deal for me. I am a strong believer that invasives will save the planet. So this is just a gorgeous bush, and there are bees covering it already. And I could put this in my food forest because legitimately it's food and it's beautiful, but I'm going to stick it outside my house and I'm going to put it near where we like to hang out during the evenings, because it has exactly the right colors for the color scheme for all my things there. And my color scheme there is a yellow, purple, or white flower with silver foliage. So obviously green foliage too, but then also silver as well. So I am going to put this and kind of just add some depth to the flower beds that I have already outside my house. You can see it's in this very large pot. We have had rain for the last 4 or 5 days, every single day, and so the ground is very moist. I feel very confident in transplanting such a big bush right now, and I know that we're going to be getting a lot of rain following this as well. So let me show you what I do in order to plant a large bush like this, and how I want to make sure that it has the best possible chance at success, because this thing is super, super important to me. My lovely mother, she gave this to me, and it was a surprise, and it was honestly one of the best surprises ever. I was talking to the man at the nursery that we were at about this, and he was pretty proud about it, because he said that they don't have, no, he said, what was he saying? It was something along the lines of, you know, nobody else has this, and he's really glad that he's able to provide this to the community. And I was like, you know, I know, because I've been looking for this for a long time. And he was pretty psyched to be able to have it. He had talked about having some cuttings that he was going to be selling later, within a few weeks, because he was waiting for them to take root. But and I was more excited about those because I knew that I could afford a small cutting rather than a big bush like this. But later on during the day, I looked in my car after grocery shopping, and my mom had just kind of surprised me with it, and I am so excited. So this is the Beautyberry, and yeah, let's get it started. Okay, so I know that this bush is going to get to be about 5 feet tall by 5 foot wide, and this little corner is pretty much the perfect spot for it. I have a pretty sad looking Nanking cherry right here. It is newly planted. This is its first full year growing. I'm going to have, there's a choke cherry tree growing right there, and that's gonna go up tall. I have this nepeta, which gets very large. I just recently cut that back by half, and so that gets very large. So I'm gonna put this back here in this corner right here, so the nepeta has enough room to spread. You see I have some artemisia right here. There are some hollyhocks. The tobacco has kind of self-sown itself and is spreading quite a lot. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here and take out some of that tobacco soon. So most of the things in this area is like salvias and silver foliage type things. I've got some weeds coming up. We had no rain for the longest time, and so we had no weeds, but we've had so much rain recently that the weeds have just really shot up. So I have some other plants in here that are going to go tall. I have some that spread out along the ground, and then I have some bushy ones right here. And then this is just going to be framed perfectly in this corner right here, I think. And then I can just kind of move that edging out, add some mulch around it once I get some more mulch, and this will be a really good spot for it. So let's do it. While I'm digging this hole, I want to put the pot down on the ground where I want it, and then I'm going to kind of dig a little bit of a trench all the way around, about 2-3 inches wider than what it already is. If I had like a hard clay soil, I would do a lot more than that. I would do maybe 4 inches outside the pot, but we have a very sandy, well draining soil, so I'm not worried about the roots being able to really get out and spread out. So I'm only going to do about maybe 1 or 2 inches around the outside of the pot, move the pot off, and then I'll dig my hole. Okay, so I got the dirt dug up, I put the plant in, I turned it so that the side that we see the most is going to be the most beautiful side. And so I also kind of dug a little bit of a trench around the bottom side. Since it's on such a hill, I want it to be able to get enough water. So I created kind of like a little bit of a water catch, just kind of like built up the soil around here a little bit so the water would slow down, catch here for a little bit, and maybe soak into the ground before leaving. I'm also going to put rocks on top, but first, like I was saying, this is pretty much sand soil, and there's not a whole lot of nutrients in sand. And so I have here, this is a trick I learned from my mom, soil conditioner, and this is 100% organic. And I'm just going to put handfuls of this on top of the soil around the bush so that those nutrients from the soil conditioner can slowly go down and absorb into the soil, and the roots still have a chance to reach out. If you put the soil conditioner around the roots, what's going to happen most likely, the guineas, what's going to happen most likely is that the roots are not going to want to spread out at all. They're just going to want to stay there in the conditioned soil, the really nutrient dense stuff. I'm sweating. And so so they're not as likely to reach out and develop a strong root system. So if you put the soil conditioner on top of the soil and it slowly leaches down, the roots will still reach out and really try to get a good strong grip and spread as much as they can. So I'm going to put this on top, let the rain soak that in, and then I'm going to put rocks on top so that any chickens or anything that come around, they're not going to knock the soil around. Also, it's easier for me to handle with a weed whipper when I come around if there's some rocks preventing me from getting to the stems of this bush. Okay, so here's my beautiful beautyberry bush. I do have a hydrangea right here. I will be adding another shrub right here. I think it's probably going to be like an evergreen huckleberry, and that might take a couple years to get that going the way that I want it to go, but this is the spot that I want for that, so I'm saving a spot for it. Begin with the end in mind, right? And then the Nanking cherries right there, the tree, and everything is just exactly the way that I want it to. and the ducks approve, I believe. So there's the Beautyberry. Also, I just want to say that watering it afterwards is paramount. You got to do that. Also, when I did bury this, where it was in the pot, this is the top of it right here. This is the mulch that came in the pot. I did not go above the soil level of here because I do not want to, it's very unhealthy for a bush if you put it into the ground and then you bury the stems even more than what they were in the pot. So a lot of different things can happen with that. Fruit trees is one thing, bushes is another, but you want to make sure that the top level of the soil is something that you leave exposed and you just fill in around the edges. So there it is, that's the Beautyberry. This type of planting works for any kind of major shrub that you can put in, hydrangea. I didn't put in any extra fertilizers or anything like that. Depending on what kind of bush you want to put in, there might be some different supplements for the soil that you want to put in depending on what you're planting, what your end goal is. Especially, I know hydrangeas, depending on the acidity of the soil, you'll have different colored blooms. But with the Beautyberry, this is what I had to do, and it's going to do really, really well from now on. I'm very excited. Yeah, that's about it. If you have ever heard of a Beautyberry, or you have Beautyberries, or you've been looking for Beautyberries, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys could hit the like button, the notification bell, and the subscribe button, I would appreciate it so much. And stay blessed.